Okay, and welcome back to the fourth part of the Cadash playthrough. This will be the final part as well. Now, as I was mentioning in the third video, here is in the middle bottom row there, the last crown for the priest. And you notice just about all those items once again, and of course I didn't actually buy it by mistake. Just about all those items, except for the ninja's weapon, are for the warrior. Which the warrior gets so much stuff, so now I am, as far as items go, I have everything that you could buy for the priest, so I'm like fully equipped now. So now, since I had got I had gotten the key from that little treasure chest, I can now go all the way back and open the door and get to where Baruch is hiding. So I just kind of have to retrace my steps, which is a little bit hard here because it's not exactly the most straightforward castle, because there's like so many doors which lead to other doors which lead to other doors. You know how it is with the last level, and they try to make it a maze. And this will get us back because we have to go back to where the princess was. And of course she just says, "May God help you," because she thinks you are like so inept at what you're doing. And now, basically what I was saying at the end of the previous video, but I had to cut myself short because the video just abruptly ended and I didn't realize it, was sometimes I kind of have trouble figuring things to say during these full playthroughs, especially if it's like a longer game, because, you know, you only have so much to say about a game, especially if it's like a part right now where I'm just walking through the castle trying to get to the end. And that's one funny thing to note. I hit that one flying dragon thing once. I guess it just hit it in such a way that it killed it, but when I first had faced them, I had to hit them several times. But now, since I'm level 19 and I have like all the upgrades, that's why it's so easy to kill things now. The reason I'd gone back there is I had noticed I saw a treasure chest, and I was thinking to myself, wait, how do I get that treasure chest? And now this is another point I was thinking I was going to grind, but it seems like what keeps happening is the skeleton knight guy here just kind of just hits me every time, so it just kind of made it like counterproductive to try to do this. So after just a couple of them here, I kind of give up pretty quickly. So you'll see I just defeat a couple of these. And you may ask yourself, why is he still giving you money that you're this far into the castle? But at this point, you actually still can go back before you go face Baruch. So if you, for some reason, decided you needed more medical herbs, or you needed more antidotes, or you needed to go to the inn, you could actually go back right now. And of course, that spell I just used was the full hit point, the double like potion. It doesn't actually restore all your hit points, but it restores quite a few of them compared to the other spell, which only does 10. Which, you know, at this point in the game, when I have 255 hit points, it kind of makes it a bit counterproductive. And here's me still trying to get that last level. I don't know if I actually end up getting the 20th level or if I give up before then. So we can actually just see what I actually end up doing here. And of course, unlike those skeletons on the first continent, this one actually jumps. So he actually is a bit more of a challenge, because you could notice sometimes I get hit, sometimes I don't. And just like Castlevania, if you will, when you get hit, you get knocked back. But for some reason, like this late in the game, it seems like they decided to like totally exaggerate how far you got knocked back. And now this is a door that I had skipped earlier, but I didn't realize it at this point that I was going into a different door and there's a treasure chest here. Which of course just had a medical herb, which you don't actually get the medical herb because I was actually fully stocked on them. More of those blue dragons. And no, not Blue Dragon for Xbox 360, or I think there's a Blue Dragon additional game on the Game Boy Advance. I think it was like Blue Dragon Plus or something like that. I'm not sure if it was a sequel or if it was the same game. But now that's what I was mentioning in one of the earlier videos. How, like, there's a limit to how many items you can carry. But instead of giving you multiple items, like, you can only carry one elixir apparently. It, what will happen is I picked up another elixir, but I don't actually end up having 2 elixirs. I only end up having 1. And now those are the same eyeballs as you saw on the first continent, except there's quite a few more of them. There was only 1 earlier, so it wasn't too much of a big deal. And now here's another form of the giant worm, but instead of being like very crazy easy like the earlier one was, which basically if it stopped twice I could kill it by just hitting it a few times. This time it takes a lot more times, but a lot of games actually use the whole let's reuse the bosses from earlier but make them stronger. Going back to a game I had mentioned in the previous video, the game Cadash actually does the same thing, where you have to face several of the bosses during the game in a later part of the game, which personally for me, since I really enjoyed that game, I thought it was a kind of cool thing to revisit some of the bosses. But in some of these games it kind of gets obnoxious because sometimes you're like at this point where you can't go back, but of course I can go back at this point, but and I really should have, since I only have 6 magic points. I'm just glad I was like able to actually make it through. And now that was where the ending boss guy acts all high and mighty about everything. And now this form isn't too bad. It's just basically him throwing these lightning bolts at you, which I do a horribly bad job of dodging. But I wouldn't doubt if I had my shield spell, it would probably go away after like getting hit once or twice. If somebody has actually done it, you can actually tell me. So Baruch actually ended up getting away. And now you're back at the castle and you're going to see the aftermath of it. At this point now you cannot go back. You can't get anything from any shops or anything. So if you're at this point and your health is like almost gone, which I believe was what happened in my first playthrough, that I had defeated the first form of Baruch, not realizing he wouldn't die. And I didn't have enough gas in the tank, if you will, to take on the second form, which we will be seeing in just a little while here. So this time around I have all those herbs stockpiled, and of course I have the 1 elixir. You can only have 1 even though I've picked up 2. And now the king, or at least who you think is the king, is telling you that Baruch's power is like unbearable and there's no way in the world we can stop him. But the princess here tells us that the king really is Baruch, so I'm guessing he killed the king and then took his place. That's my only guess. And instead of just trying to defeat him in his weedy form here like you were fighting him before, he's going to do something like major, so it'll be a much harder fight. And if you didn't guess it, Baruch's form is the big dragon, which if you look very closely on the screen, like by the overscan area, you'll notice it's actually the dragon's not moving, but it's actually moving the whole background. And then his head is just moving. But I guess that's how a system like the TurboGrafx, which of course wasn't the biggest graphics powerhouse, would handle such a big moving enemy and still make it look halfway decent. But it seems like no matter what I did here, I couldn't get away from his flames, but that finally kills Baruch and he's finally dead. And of course the princess wanted you to stay, but you wouldn't. And now here's the fancy picture of her from the beginning. And I guess it's supposed to create like a dramatic thing that it has the type go up very slow. But honestly, I always thought that was just kind of silly that it was like ding 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 coming up on the screen. And of course, now that you've beaten the game, your character walks off into the sunset onto the next adventure. You get to see the credits. Of course, this is back in 1991, so it's not like today where like hundreds of people make one game. It's a rather small delegation of people that make one game, probably less than like 20 or 50. And that's all the Japanese guys. The USA team consists of Working Designs, which, as you can see here, only consisted of 3 guys. Victor Ireland, Leroy Shirley, and Don Shirley. I believe all 3 of them continue to work for Working Designs even into its twilight. And of course they say, and your character is part of it too, because you played the game. Sadly, due to the fact that the game didn't have any voice acting, there's no outtakes like there'd be in some Working Designs games, but still a really good effort by Working Designs, and it was great that they actually brought this version of the game to America. But now I'm going to show you really quick the other characters. Like, here's the fighter, who for some reason doesn't wear any pants, which is still, in all versions of Cadash, one of the weirdest things is that you have this, like, burly fighter guy and he doesn't wear any pants. I'm sure when you get like better armor, he actually will end up wearing pants, or he'll like have what do you call them, greaves on. But I just find it weird that you're wearing like you're playing this like pantsless fighter guy. But all I have to say is he may be stronger, but all of his weapon swings are just very awkward, and he just seems like a hard character to fight as. And his sword sounds like it's hollow when you don't hit anything. But that's the regular fighter warrior guy here. Next here is the wizard, or I think he's actually called the mage here. He actually just hits people with the staff, and he has magic spells. And what was really lame there is at level 1, the wizard couldn't, the mage actually couldn't kill the pig guys unless he hit them twice. So it was a little bit helpful that you gained another level and you could kill them with one hit. But the silly thing is I don't actually show many of the spells here, because I'm just defeating the skeletons. I have no idea why. So I made the mage's gameplay a little bit longer, so you can see a little bit more of what he does here. But his physical attack alone is kind of laughable. The range is like even shorter than the warrior, so if you're not using his magic spells to their full extent, which there's one where you shoot a little fireball, and then there's one that you get these little swords that shoot out when you get to level 3, like this. And that really helps, I guess, because his attack is so bad. And now here's the ninja. The only thing the ninja really does, which I'm guessing later down the road you'll be able to throw better weapons, but he, just like the priest, he can throw his weapons in all 8 directions, so that's actually pretty cool. Whereas the mage and the warrior have a rather limited like swing of their weapons since they're not projectile. But I believe later when you get a better sword for the warrior, as somebody else's review said, you actually can like shoot. But that doesn't come until later in the game, I believe. And the funny thing is, one of the reasons why, other than like a list of the Working Designs games that I found out about this game, is because in the making of Lunar Silver Star Story Complete, it actually shows a quick clip of this game. The ninja is really fast, but his attacks are pretty weak. That's where he gets his that's his advantages. Of course, the mage is weak to physical attacks, but he and there's the actual fire from the wizard, but the wizard has some very powerful magic. You'll see warrior has high strength, high agility, higher AC. The wizard, all his physical stuff is low, but he has like high mind and everything, so he has like very good spells. The priest has good attack, and of course good spells, good agility, but she's not as strong as the warrior. And of course the ninja has a very high agility, but he's lacking in the other departments. Well, that was Cadash. Really great game. If you have a TurboGrafx 16, it's definitely worth picking up. And of course, if you don't have a TurboGrafx 16 and you don't like emulators, or you don't have a computer that can run MAME, I would very highly recommend picking up a TurboGrafx 16 just to play this game. It's honestly worth it. Well, this has been another Game Nexus Let's Play video, and I shall see you in my next video. Later. Bye.